been a while since I made a video, but I figured today I would discuss my extreme dopamine detox that I took, that I went through about several months ago now. This was around, I want to say, late April, early May. Um, this was a experiment that I did over the course of about a month, and I figured that now would be the time to talk about it, how I did on it, and what it's like coming off from that. So, um, I used to have a really big problem with internet addiction and phone addiction. This would get in the way of my Bible studies. It would get in the way of me researching other religions, history, philosophy, things of that nature. Because I will be stuck in this just dopamine rush of watching useless crap on YouTube or listening to music, too much music, because music in itself can be addiction um, if used uh, wrongfully. But at the same time, though, music can be very helpful. Though I'm getting very off track. But one day, it came to my attention that uh, I had a really big problem with my phone because I have screen time on my phone, and it was telling me I was almost like 10 hours of phone usage, so really bad. And I watched several videos on how I could overcome this, and I started developing my own plan um, to be able to slowly get off of my phone and use it more responsibly. First of all, what I started doing was one like each week I would cut an hour down from using my phone. First it was 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, and then 1. I think the lowest I ever got was only being on my phone for 30 minutes a day. That was, actually take that back. I think my record was about 20 minutes. So, and I noticed a lot of effects, positive effects, and some negative that came from that. First, I want to go over the pros since that's the majority. First thing I noticed was that I was becoming a lot more productive. I was reading the Bible a lot more often. I was reading all my other books more often than not. And I was helping around the house, helping clean, cook, and things of that nature. One other thing I did that I noticed was that, I don't know if it was just a placebo effect, but my eyesight improved greatly because I wasn't using so much blue, and so much blue light wasn't hitting my eyes like I'm doing right now because I'm on my phone. Another thing too I noticed was that I wasn't buying so much stuff like I normally would. And this is when I would, and this is and at this time I was working at a car wash, which I'm still working at now. And I realized also is that I was a lot more productive when I was at work too. I was um, helping out a lot more often. I was maybe not necessarily the star, worker that they might be expecting, but they were definitely seeing some improvements in my professionalism. And I actually got to the point where they asked if I ever wanted to become a manager. I respectfully declined as I felt, and I still feel that I'm not responsible enough to watch for other people. But getting back into things here, this also kind of spiraled into other stuff that I would do that would try to do to go further along with this dopamine detox. Uh, One thing I did was I stopped sleeping on my bed, and I had another reason for this that kind of just came about at the same time. Was that um, my posture was really bad. My then girlfriend at the time, she was actually no, we got engaged after I started. No, we got engaged before I started doing this. Anyways, she told me that I was slouching a lot more than usual, and I should see if there's anything I could do to stop that. And one of the things I learned was that sleeping on the floor is a good way to fix posture. So I started doing that. First, let's start with like a comforter, kind of like one of those Japanese style futons that I had for a while. That I would use if I'm going anywhere, like if I'm camping or something like that. I would bring that with me. So I used that for a while, and then I stopped using that even, and was just using a blanket under my back. And then I started. Then I stopped even using a blanket. Period, because I was so used to the cold floor that the cold carpet floor that nothing really did anything for me. So, and that really helped my posture and also fixed my sleep partially. Oh, and that brings up another point. So one of the things I did do to fix my sleep as well was that I would put my phone in a different room and just rely solely on 2 alarm clocks to wake me up in the morning. I would stay off my phone for about an hour or two, because what I would do is that I would only use my phone for about an hour a day, close to the end of the day, and I would use that time to watch maybe like a documentary or something like that, some kind of eye candy, because I believe that everybody, people can consume in a way that doesn't destroy their time learning, right? You just have to ingrain in your head whenever you're on your phone. You remind yourself, like, what am I going to use my phone for in the present moment? Am I going to just watch dumb YouTube content, or am I actually going to learn about something? Am I going to study something and use it as a resource, right? So I ingrained that into my head, which caused me to use my phone a lot more responsibly. Now, of course, yes, I would use it also for texts and calls and things of that nature, for friends and stuff like that. Another big thing I did to try to alleviate myself from using my phone so much is I was not on social media, hardly at all. Some of my friends that watch this video would know that I took a long break from Discord, probably about a month, and that was really weird. I was hardly ever on Discord. I mean, I'm still not now, not nearly as much as I used to. It was like 5-6 hours a day would be spent on Discord instead of just reading the Bible and stuff like that. What else? Oh, I did also work out a lot more often. Maybe not as much as I would like to, because I kind of wanted to build up a similar workout routine that Herschel Walker did. Now, if you don't know who Herschel Walker is, he's probably one of the greatest athletes in the last 30 to 40 years. Because he had a routine of getting up around the same time I would in the mornings, around 5:30 in the morning. Go work his guts out, pretty much and not eat till dinner. And that's because I would do intermittent fasting combined with um, religious fasting as well. So I would be doing about, I don't even know, maybe 200 push-ups, 200 sit-ups, because that's, and then like some squats. I could only do about 100 because I have bad knees, because I was born with bad knees. And like I would go running, and I would always add a lot of weight to running. I would just like every week I would add like an extra 10 pounds to my back to push myself harder. And I did lose a pretty fair amount of weight from that. Though the one thing that I sadly never could get rid of was my the fat on my face and my neck. That's something that I'm probably going to live with for a while longer. But now let's get into the cons. One of the cons was that I want to say, almost selfish in doing this, in that I didn't really talk to friends as much as I would normally do, and I wasn't talking to my fiance as much as I would like to. So that's one of the cons. A second thing too was that I did sometimes have a lot of trouble controlling my emotions, mainly because I was so in the present moment that when I would hear something terrible that happened, because I took that long time off social media and I wasn't watching any news or anything, that when I did hear something bad that happened, it really affected me a lot more than it normally would. And I would have a hard time being able to control my anger. And at that time, there was only so much I could do with my frustration, because I can't jerk off or anything like that. Really, the only thing I could do was work out. But I only did that in the mornings. Because the majority of the time I would immediately go to work right afterwards. Depending on if I was going in at 6 in the morning or, 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 4 o'clock even. So there was really only so much I could do to control my anger, and it's still like that now. But because I don't watch any degenerate content or anything like that. But I would say in that aspect, getting back on my phone did alleviate some of that, surprisingly. Just because I guess I had more of an opportunity to watch some kind of eye candy. Not as regularly as I did before, but that's one other thing. And I think that might actually be it for our cons. So, at least as far as I can remember. I have notes over here, but I'm like barely looking at them. But yeah, I would say overall, it was a very good experience. I learned to use my phone a little bit more responsibly. I lost a fair amount of weight. I was learning how to respect music more, and how much of a luxury it is to be able to consume music anytime I want, for the most part. And along with other content, but music especially, since that's been such a big part of my life. Since I collect music for, as a hobby and things of that nature. And I learned to use my money more responsibly as well. I learned, how to cook. Yeah, I learned how to cook. I learned, and I've also learned coming off of it how to be, how to have time for not only myself, but for my friends and my loved ones. So, and I've learned also better ways of posture and better ways of being able to show off that I take care of myself in general. But, um, but yeah, that's my, uh, I guess, extreme dopamine detox story for you guys. If you guys have a similar experience as I do, please let me know and how that went for you. Um, yeah, this is a CGX Proxy signing out.